Good evening, everyone. My name is Kurt Rustling, your Jimmies, and tonight we have a very special treat. A first, actually, here at the BBC. An exclusive interview with a very renowned wild camper. Now, wild camping can be a bit of a rough journey sometimes, and a controversial subject, actually. So tonight, he is anonymous. We will simply call him the Wild C Word. C Word for camping, of course. I am, for one, very excited to be the first to interview Mr. Wild C Word. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. Looks good.
So it's no secret that you are very successful, but what makes your channel so successful?
Well, I'm honest. It's just me. It's my opinions. All you see is the real me.
So no tips or tricks, no unveiling what is behind the curtain of your success?
Ah, you mean like the thumbnails? Nah, I can't really reveal anything, can I? Can I? Like one time, I forgot my spokes. You know, the little... It's not really a fork, it's not really a spoon, it's, spoke, yeah. And I thought, that should be a great episode, you know. I just downloaded an app and I just put missing spoke into the app. And it just made a thumbnail. It just makes the most clickable thumbnail you can imagine. The app is called Dumbnails. I use it for everyone.
So what about this one? You almost got stabbed?
I remember that one. Well, I almost got stung by a bee. That would have been mad.
Goodness me. Are you allergic to bees? Do you need, like, epinephrine?
I don't know no, never heard of her.
What? Never mind. What about this one? A beast tore out my intestines.
Nah, I had some bad curry. Did me right in.
Ah, okay. But what about this one? Did a ghost finger blast my nan?
I don't know. Someone did. Horrible smell. I had to throw that tent right out.
Okay. I just have a final question. What's your favorite color, buddy?
That sounds like something that the YouTube people is not going to recommend my video on. Yeah, no, yeah. My nan is right behind you. She says she says to cut the interview.
That explains the smell.
Go take a shot. I can smell you.
I think we're done here.
We have company. No,
Cut.
no, he's gone. Never mind. Put them back on. Oh, a little coffee ASMR maybe. Lovely.
Hello and welcome to episode 18 of the Bushcraft Bullshit series. Today, we're going a bit outside the realm of bushcraft and diving headfirst into the cesspool that is wild camping. More specifically, the clickbait portion of it. And what is clickbait? Well, it is a thumbnail or a picture that is designed to bait you into clicking on it. Now, it can be provocative or crass. It doesn't have to be a lie. It doesn't have to be fabricated. It has to be bait that entices you to click on it. Here's the Urban Dictionary. We are going to look at the part specifically that has to do with intentionally misleading the audience. And intentionally misleading, well, it sure sounds like lying, doesn't it? And because of a technicality, we cannot call them fat fucking douchebag prick liars. We can't do that. We cannot do that. And what is that technicality? Well, it is the grammatical wonder of the question mark. The technique of the question mark that is used throughout clickbait. Because if they ask a question, they cannot be held accountable. Because accountability is the kryptonite of clickbaiters. They won't be held accountable for anything. They weasel their way out of any accountability whatsoever. Because they are technically not lying when they entice you with either a question or some kind of vague formulation of their sentences. And that leads me to a sentence that comes to mind when I think about YouTube and clickbait and wild camping. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And now hate is a strong word because let's just say dislike. Don't dislike the player, dislike the game. And I have been told that by a few of these campers. What is that? Well, it is them acting under a system that suppresses them and forces them into clickbaiting their thumbnails because that's the easiest way to get views. And it is. And that conclusion we will come to a bit later. I'm keeping the format of my Bushcraft Bullshit series, and I'm going to look at clips from their pages. Now, I'm not going to mention names, I'm not going to mention channels, but I am going to show bits and pieces of their footage because they certainly aren't embarrassed about it. They get lots of views on it. So I figure, well, then I can just, show the thing that they're so proud of. With that said, these clips and people in it, they're not villains, they're not evil. They are just doing what's best according to their morals, according to their goals, and it's just a matter of opinion. And my takes on these clips are just my opinion. We have different ways of doing content and creating, and that's just how it is. And certainly my takes on it are not exempt from criticism, and certainly their takes are not exempt from criticism or jokes as well. But I'm not after using their names to get my videos clicks. My video will do well, hopefully on its own. And if it doesn't, well, that's the views I deserve on it. And if your content only does well with clickbait, well, does your content really deserve views? Oh, question mark. You see what I did there? That was clever, ain't it? But hey, I'm not saying they don't deserve views. I am just saying, do they? Second time I'm doing this video because I couldn't decide on the format and my approach. So I'm not going to be splitting it into these three categories I promised. I'm just going to take a look at some wild camping clickbait examples. But rest assured, this is not going to be a one-off because there's a lot of crap out there. Let's take a look at this thumbnail and some clips from this video. My dog warned me, camping on the woodline of the Skinwalker forest. Ooh, there's no question mark. That means he must have documented skinwalkers. Has he? No. So this dude just named this forest Skinwalker Forest, I guess. No question mark or anything. Does that make him a liar? Well, we could call him that. But let's just move on. What a thumbnail. Looks like something from The Grudge.
Noticed when we came here last time was just how quiet it was. The complete lack of wildlife noise. No bird song, no sound whatsoever. Just like now.
Now, what is he talking about here? He's talking about there's an eerie atmosphere. There's something off. And they often use kind of the, when there's a silence in the woods to kind of categorize the whole thing as eerie and creepy and there's a nasty atmosphere. And what can it be? Well, it's just bullshit. It's just horse shit. It really is. A lot of these wild campers use this dead air in the forest just to, oh my God, there's no sound. That must mean there's a predator or something. But what they don't use is logic. He has a lot of dogs with him. So maybe that's the reason why the birds and bees, birds and bees are quiet. Maybe that's it. Have you thought of that? Or maybe you with the camera making noise, talking. Maybe that's why they're quiet. It is not because of a skinwalker. And how do I know that? Well, I can confidently say that. Well, Anas, don't you have to prove it? No, the burden of proof is on you, my dear content creator. This is your video. Show me a skinwalker. Oh, but they shapeshift. Shapeshift my ass. Shapeshift it. Shapeshift my ass into a big old BBL, but that's still some BS you're talking there. But yeah, it's silent. Oh my goodness. Let's just fast forward a bit, I think about a minute and some change, and let's hear this complete dead silence. That sure sounds like birds, but hey, when he talked about it, there was dead quiet. Maybe all the birds are dead from the skinwalker. Or maybe not. Maybe he just waited for a quiet period so he can spout off, that line they all do. Now, I'm not going to watch the whole videos of these, and I'll get to why in the end. It's stupid to even entertain the fact that there is anything. Maybe there's some kind of big cat or something, but there's nothing. There's nothing. It's a guy talking to the camera for 27 minutes. There's nothing. Let's check out another one of this creator's video. Check out this thumbnail. They're watching me. I was being hunted. Solo top camping with 2 dogs. That sounds horrifying. It really does. Poor guy. The video accompanied by this thumbnail is a 30-minute video of him walking around in the dark, talking to his dogs and himself. And let's just fast forward a bit to the part where he's actually being hunted. Now bear in mind, this is a different video, but he's still in the Skinwalker forest. Maybe there was more of them. Maybe there weren't just one Skinwalker. Maybe there were 3. Fuck. Maybe he was being hunted by 4 Skinwalkers. Long-limbed, ooey-gooey, pasty-looking, raisin-adjacent 4 Skinwalkers. Hopefully maybe he could circumvent those Skinwalkers, or maybe he brought a knife, so he can cut them into smaller pieces. God forbid there was 4 Skinwalkers. Let's see what it was.
How do I get out? See? That's what I talked about earlier. Orientation.
What was that? Oh, he paused it. Look at those eyes. Oh my God, more eyes. Reflecting eyes. Wow. That was his 2 dogs. Imagine that. Yep, honestly, wholesome moment. His dogs found him. They were probably off playing somewhere and they found him and he's laughing and that's a fun moment. Oh, pretty scary, huh? Must have given quite a scare, but yeah, great moment. Except for the fact that it was just a massive clickbait. You weren't being hunted. Your dogs found you. Your dogs found you. And what a lovely moment. If it wasn't for the intentionally misleading part where you said you were hunted in the Skinwalker forest. BS? In the file cabinet, I'm going to file that under BS. Cute dogs, though. They seem very free-spirited and well-disciplined. Now this next creator, let's take a look at his thumbnails before we just go into some clips. Dangerous. They all come out at night! In all caps. Wow. I wonder what it is. Well, I can spoil it for you. It's animals. It's deer. Also, he saw a hedgehog. What does your mind go to? Well, mine goes to ghosts, ghouls, paranormal stuff, psychos, something like that. But hey, that's my fault. That's the accountability stuff we were talking about. It's not their fault that our mind goes to someplace else. But yeah, it's a deer, it's a hedgehog. So what else? Oh, another one. They come out at night. He sent them to try kill my dog. That's crazy. That is crazy. There's no question marks or anything. But so what is he talking about? Well, I've watched the video, and it's an old folklore of some kind of goblin type thing that lives near a water source, and he would send creatures to pester the local townspeople, and he has a dog with him. And so this thumbnail is referencing that this creature that lives near the water sent these poisonous frogs. They're poisonous to dogs, but this creature sent those frogs at night to poison his dog. That's it. There's no kind of evil neighbor or evil guy who sent someone to try and kill his dog because the dog was a nuisance or anything, or some kind of trespassing. That's where my mind goes, but it's just frogs. What is it? Is premium clickbait. That's what it is. Then we have this video, and thumbnail says, "Get out." Description says, "This is my forest. Get out." Yeah. So what happened? Some kind of entity or something? Or did he meet someone who kicked him out? Well, let's see. So, establishing camp and...
Well, the owner of the land has just been up and had a word with me. As you can see, it's pitch black now. And he's asked me not to camp here tonight. Only reason being, I mean, we had a good conversation, like, and he's given me his number so I can camp here again. Reason why I can't camp here tonight is because they're hunting early in the morning, so they're going to be shooting in here, so he don't want anyone in here. That's it for me then. I'm going to have to get this packed up quickly in dark.
So he was on this guy's land, probably a farmer who said he had to get out because they're hunting in the morning. Well, fair enough. That could be pretty unsafe, especially when the owner did not know he was there. Trespassing, maybe. I don't really know those laws where he's at, but yeah, pretty decent of the owner just to give him his phone number so he can call there and camp again, and that's an important detail. But good thing he got out of there, and good thing the owner saw his fire so he could warn him about the hunt. So that's it. But he went back. And the thumbnail is just alone. Title says, I had to call the police. Now he returned to this forest, and as far as I can see in the comments, he was trespassing again.
And I especially don't want to be running in to the landowner again, because he will not be happy.
But let's just keep in mind that he did talk to the owner last time, and he did give him his phone number so he could camp there again. The night goes on, and there's a lot of shots in the dark of nothing, and we listen to some gunshots. Now, maybe there was some hunting going on, but I don't know what kind of hunting goes on at night. He hears some gunshots, and let's just take his word for it that they are not overlaid or anything. He talks a bit about getting thrown off by the owner for his own safety. And yeah, it was for your own safety. And hopefully you called him in advance to let him know you were camping there again, or else it's just, wow, that's disrespectful. He heard some gunshots while laying in the tent, and then he decides to get out of there. And assuming those gunshots are not overlaid, I think it's pretty good that he got out of there. But on the way out, something happens that kind of, sets up the whole thumbnail thing. He hears what he says is a scream. He heard it later in the editing process, and then he hears gunshots.
I camp, and see, I started hearing stuff, but then, yeah, and Fendi's back legs, but we managed to climb up this.
Yeah, that was definitely a sound, but in my opinion, that was just a whistle of some kind. Maybe a whistle used to draw out an animal or get them to go somewhere. It really sounded like a whistle, and he only heard it in editing. He heard that, what in my opinion is whistle, and about 30 seconds later, there were 2 shots. And when he heard that, he called the police, and, I don't know how that goes, but probably made a police report saying that. So what are you saying? That you went back against the owner's will, trespassing, being very disrespectful in my opinion, and you had to leave because of gunshot, because he has warned you that there's some hunting going on in this area from the previous video, so it's safe to assume that probably be hunting again, maybe when you are there. And then you heard what you think is a scream, and then you reported it to the police. Honestly, I think it's a whistle, and probably used in some kind of hunting relation. And then you called the police. Then you heard a scream and some gunshots on a property you were trespassing on. How does that work? Now, I can't really draw any conclusions on that, but that seems pretty stupid to trespass in the first place and then report it to the police. How do you explain that? I don't know. Would be nice with an update on the report. Did the police check it out or anything? I don't think that will come, but yeah, because it's not relevant. It's just a single piece of content standing on its own, and it's just fluff. He tied in some real world consequences, getting the police involved, but how does that work? Let's get an update. It's just so weird. And all throughout the first Get Out video and then the Alone video where he called the police, there's eerie music, there's a whole setup for the paranormal, for the spooky encounter, whole vibe. You must have some kind of curse on you, dude, because when you go camping, everything always goes wrong. There's something happening. There's something spooky. I forgot this. 60-mile-an-hour gale force winds. I don't know the MPH on that shit, but there's always something going on. Just have you ever had an enjoyable camp? It's so insane. Something goes wrong every time you're out camping. You know what I call that? That's just fabricating and sensationalizing every single bit that you can for views. Okay, but I almost went into a conclusion mode there. Can't do that. Let's move on. Last creator I'm going to talk about. Something felt wrong. I couldn't finish this camp thumbnail. So this dude is going into something that he has dubbed Bigfoot Forest. I don't know why. I think he's in England. I don't know why it would be Bigfoot Forest. But he went camping in this forest. He gets a feeling and a vibe and an atmosphere from something very specific.
And I get this feeling of trespassing, like, not legal trespassing, like spiritual trespassing, you know, where I'm feeling like something's wrong here.
I had a feeling of spiritual trespassing. Damn. It's hard to say anything against feelings because, you know, you have the right to them and they are what they are. And rational, doubt it. Sensationalizing, no doubt about it. Spiritual trespassing, holy moly. His camp went wrong. He had a bad feeling in the forest, and also there was no sound. It was eerie, the atmosphere, and spiritual trespassing. But he went back again and again and again and again, and he pinpoints what it is. As soon as he comes close to this tree.
Yeah, that's freaky, man. The moment I get close to that tree, I feel it. Bro. All the hairs on my back are standing up. I was alright away from that tree. I moved away. I was fine. I get back close to that tree. That is weird. I can't describe it. It's just like a sudden sense of dread that pervades through my body and is gone the moment I move. I don't feel it now. I don't feel it now. I don't feel it.
And he gets a feeling of, you know, dread throughout his body. And as soon as he gets close to that tree, he feels it. I don't know if he said feels it grow or the feeling of fear is growing. But well, maybe it's not fear. Maybe it's arousal, my dude. Nothing wrong with that. Some people, you know, just get into nature in a different kind of way than most people do. But now he goes back with some buddies, and they are having a good time drinking, but they end up bailing on that one as well. And he's not joking. He is he's feeling that sense of dread again and again and again. And him and his buddy joke about that. and they all seem very nice. And the buddy's like, "Man, you're overreacting, man. Come on, just just don't be a pussy." Then he says this,
Little baby boy. Do you not think maybe I'm more attuned to the supernatural? I'm glad I'm not.
and maybe he is just more in tune to the paranormal. Far be it from me to say he's not, but his buddies think it's shit. And they bail on that camp as well. And he goes back one more time, and then he bails on that. Goes back one more time, and he feels the same feeling again. And he has a monologue with himself that I think is really interesting. So I think we should hear that.
And like, I didn't want to just freak out over nothing, which I very obviously have done, probably, again. But I want this channel to be real, still, regardless of what people's expectations are. I'm not going to fake anything. There's a YouTuber I want to mention by name, because he makes very entertaining content. But it's all like, the camping stuff's obviously real, but the spooky stuff is obviously bullshit, which is fine. But I sort of feel like he misleads his audience into thinking it's real. And I know from my comment section that a lot of the people who are drawn to these sorts of videos are perhaps more vulnerable. I don't know, I feel like if you're a creator with a big platform, you almost have a responsibility to be as realistic as possible. Because at the end of the day, YouTube channels, it's not about being a purveyor of truth. It's about providing entertainment. I'm not coming back here again.
Very honest segment right there, that his channel is going to be entertainment above all. That's fine. That's a creative choice. But that gives a perspective into what kind of mindset that these creators have. It's entertainment. It's not something that needs to be real or true or a beacon of truth all the time. But it can be entertaining without misleading people. Now, this last dude, it's a lot about feelings, and you can't really say anything about that because it's his feelings. He feels it. But coming back 4 times with the same result, milking a dead horse, right? Is that the American expression? You can beat it. You can beat off a dead horse at the water hole, but you can't make him chase 2 birds in a bush. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so what are these creators doing, and what are they? Well, they are creative, they are entertaining, they are good at editing, they are good at creating an atmosphere, they are knowledgeable about gear, they are certainly outdoorsmen, they are charming, charismatic, they have a lot of stuff going for them. They are all that skilled YouTubers. And they are also misleading bullshitters. They are all this, but they are also that. And to me, that comes at the expense of treating your audience like fools. You get sucked into this universe where you think anything is possible. It's BS. It really is. And they put the views on such a high pedestal that any stupid clickbait thumbnails is justified by the views that they get. And yeah, sometimes they just use these clickbait videos that get upwards to 1 million views for a vehicle to get their channel where they want. But when you've done that kind of content, it's done. It's your resume. That is what you do. That is what you are. You are misleading people. And again, it's a choice. And they are charming. Some of them have great personalities, but 30-minute video with them staring into nothing, making shit noodles or steaks by an eerie place with shitty background horror music on. I would be fine with a lot of these thumbnails if the content weren't so goddamn boring. It's boring as shit. Just go on and on and on and on and on about that shit, and by the 35-minute mark, we get that clickbait shit that it leads up to, and it is nothing. It is nothing. It's just my opinion, though. I think they're boring as all shit. And that's why I try to keep my content when I'm out camping. You know, I do a job, I do a project, I have some fast cuts because I know I probably can't sustain just monologuing into a camera for 35 minutes. It's boring. And on top of that, it's bullshit. It really is. It's bullshit. I've talked to a lot of these people, wild campers, bushcrafters, all the content I cover, I talk to some of them. And when I question their techniques, they often result to the same thing when we talked it through. If you don't like it, don't watch it. No, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna shit on it because it is shit. It's just exploitative shit. And also they often say that get off your high horse. And I don't think I'm on a high horse. I think my horse is pretty regular. I think it's a normal horse. Now, I'm not an equestrian or anything.
Whose horse is that?
I think my horse is pretty normal size. You know, don't mislead people. That's a pretty standard horse to have and to ride on. Maybe those clickbait campers, maybe those horses are, very small horses. I mean, maybe compared to other, YouTubers in that horse race, maybe their horse seems like a normal size. But, the perspective is completely skewed when you are in that mindset and in that system. Just have different standards and goals for what is acceptable and for how you should, represent yourself online. And some say I take this too serious about content, about how to represent yourself and what is the morally best way to make content. I would say that I take it serious as it should be taken. Because when you mislead your audience, people will catch on. That's why, in my opinion, I think that there's a lot of high views on the first video and then they go back with a clickbait thumbnail as well, and people have seen through it. And that video has much lower views. So I'm going to stay on my normal size horse and I'm going to point fingers from that horse. I'm going to kick your horse over the shin And I hope your horse gets a serious knee injury. And I think that's enough horse metaphors for now. But that's my opinion on it when they say stuff like that. I'm going to link some wild campers in the description that I think are very entertaining and very much worth a watch. And I'm going to verbally pass on a guy I was recommended. He's called Rambling On. His page. He's from Ireland. He's a camper, an outdoor enthusiast, and he is so goddamn entertaining. It is very much just setting up camp, making food, monologuing, being in nature. But he's the whole package for me. He's funny, he's charming, he can do cinematic footage. He talks about gear passionately. I can relate to him in the way he talks about some of his vintage gear, his old gear, his worn gear. He's just so goddamn charming. And I think it's a lot to do with the accent, but also his personality. So go check out Rambling On. What a page. So soothing and interesting to listen to. But I'm just going to take his dick out of my mouth for a second and wrap it up. If you have to clickbait every single fucking thing you do, maybe your content is boring and maybe it doesn't deserve the views they're getting. There's a way to play this game where principles and standards are actually intact. Is it slower? Yes. Definitely. At least you don't lose yourself in that goddamn clickbaiting bullshit sauce that people seem to slurp up these days. Yeah, thanks for watching episode 18. I'm probably going to make more of these videos, but yeah, till next time, I'll see you.